Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Courageous Conversations. I'm so excited to be here with the lovely Rox. Rox is in the house.
I'm in the house.
Yeah.
Rocking it.
Rocking it. You totally are rocking it. and we're talking about things that, this whole thing about the feminine aspect and the masculine aspect. These are, for me, Roxanne, I'm going to tell you, I call you Roxanne sometimes.
Yeah.
But for me, Roxanne, one of the things that really hit me growing up was my father's like, be a lady. Be a lady. Be more feminine. Hi, everybody who's joining us. And by the way, if you're joining us, I would really love you to share this because I think this is powerful information. This is, and sharing is caring. And hey, we got people from Portugal, my cousin Louise, Heather Stewart, Captain Tony. I love it. I'm going to do just a little bit of sharing. And Rox, tell everybody a little bit about what your experience is around this whole feminine, masculine concept.
Yeah. Well, you just mentioned that your dad would say to you, be a lady.
Yeah.
Mine didn't go that direction. Maybe because he had 4 daughters. He always said he specialized.
Uh-huh.
And because, in
making daughters?
In the 60s and 70s, the guys would give him a lot of grief about only having daughters.
Right.
But he took a different approach, especially maybe with me as the second born. And I never will forget. It's been such a meaningful little event with my dad that didn't mean anything to me at the time, except that it hurt my feelings. But I'll never forget, I was in puberty, so I think I was like 13 or 14. And I would go out cycling all the time. And it was, cycling was a big thing in our family. And I was going out cycling with a couple of boys. And I was interested in one of them. And I felt this pull. And I think every person probably has felt a pull with one of their parents when they have been interested. When you're just going through that puberty and you kind of feel like you're pulling away from one of your parents. And I was feeling like my
individuation.
Dad... Yeah, exactly. And I was feeling like I was having that moment with my dad, and I was very close to my dad. And I remember it was a Saturday. He was under the car changing the oil or something. And I decided, before I went out on this bicycle trip in the afternoon, that I should stop by and kind of connect with my dad. So I know it sounds like a good thing. So I went in and I decided to take the chain off my bike and connect with him by asking for help. And I'll never forget, I went into the garage and my dad rolled out from under when I said, Dad, I need your help. I called him Pop. So, Pops, I need your help. He rolled out from under and I said, my chain is broken. And he looked at me. He called me Zandy. He looked at me and he said, Zandy, you of all people.
Zandy, I love
that's
it.
what he called me. You know how to fix your own bike. And I remember feeling so hurt.
Yeah.
And then years later, he and I had because that stuck with me. Because I was just trying to connect with him. It stuck with me. And when I talked with him years later, he said, I didn't want you to feel like you were not capable. Now that you were feeling like you needed to have a man take care of this.
That's interesting, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And it was a huge, I didn't learn, see, so many of us, and Marty Seligman talks about this a lot in his books and in his work, his research, about learned helplessness.
Okay.
And how typically when we go through puberty, girls learn, boys learn to kind of step up and be more assertive. Girls learn, and again, these are gender constructs that we make. And that's the whole thing of this conference, is realizing that we have held on to these. They are created by us, and we hold on to them. But in this moment, as I processed what my dad did with him, and I understood, it was him acknowledging me for what I was capable of, as opposed to trying to push me away. He was just saying, you don't need me to fix your bike. You may need me for other things, but you don't need me to fix your bike. You know how to do that. And I did.
So he sort of interrupted that sort of somewhat natural progression that happens with girls. Where they kind of sort of are socialized into learned helplessness. And that was just interrupted by your dad. What a wise dad.
Yeah, I know. And when I think back to that moment, and it hurt me at the time, but how it really has informed, my ability to move more easily between the feminine and the masculine. I don't think that it's the only, it just was one of the early moments. I like how you said it kind of he kind of got in the middle of it.
He just interrupted it.
He put the stick in the spokes of the bike.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, stop me short.
And that's and viewers, if this is something that you can relate to in terms of your own upbringing, in terms of the gender piece, and the different roles that we're sort of pigeonholed into, which can be so unhelpful, in my opinion. Yeah. Like for me, it was, be a lady, be more feminine, don't be so aggressive. And I'm like, this is me. I think that women can be, assertive, confident. But in my family culture, it was, what was rewarded was the demure, demure, girly, gentle, you're too aggressive, you're just, be more of a lady, and I think I've doubled down on the opposite in many like I swear, as people know, I do some swearing. I have a very, sometimes a very masculine presence, but at the same time, a very feminine sexuality as well. It's like, to me, it's, I love that I'm empowering all aspects of it, but it wasn't always the case.
Yeah, and I do think we can get stuck in one angle or one attribute or one area a little more in some parts of our life. And so for a lot of women, as they move in their career, they find themselves needing to be more in the masculine because the work world, the corporate world,
the only way they're going to get ahead.
Well, and that's what they believe.
They think. Yes.
And yet, because it's a man's world, as we say, but it's also, the structures were created for men, by men.
Right.
And so women have felt like they needed to get in there and play that game.
Yeah.
And what we find is men who learn how to flow into their feminine do so much better in leadership roles.
Okay,
and women
amazing.
who are able to adjust between them do so much better. So this is why, my one of the speakers wrote the seminal book on it, Gender Physics. And it's really about the
What's
moving
the speaker's
between
name?
Betty Ann Hagee. This is her book, and you'll be able to get it at the conference. And she's our second speaker. Amazing. She's just I so respect the work she's doing. And this
I love the
book is
title,
amazing.
Gender Physics. And what's the byline? Let me just read the byline.
Yeah.
Hang on. Unlock the energy you never knew you had to get the results you want. I love that.
Yeah.
Because I have to tell you, I coach, as you know, not only am I a psychotherapist, but I do a lot of coaching for people's workplace issues, the connections, the communication, but also, men and women who, for example, men who are nailed by the people in charge of them, like the senior partners type thing, because they're just a little too either not aggressive enough or too aggressive or not empathetic enough or not,
and it's about
vice versa with women as well.
And it's about matching it with the circumstance. It's about learning when to flow into which, and you need the experience of observing and being in the moment and the skill set to be able to shift back and forth. And Betty Ann's book is not only filled with strategies to do that, but her story. She moved up in her career in the mining industry. Mining industry. She and so very, very male dominated, very male culture. And she tells stories of how some of the executives, men, learned how. And she would observe them and be shocked sometimes to see how they would move into their feminine in order to be effective.
Well,
and how she had to do it.
So many people that I have worked with have said, well, I have no idea how to do that. When we're talking about confidence, walking into a room and really commanding a boardroom, a female client, let's just say. And they're like, well, I have no idea. I was trained to basically follow versus lead. Or I was trained to not raise my voice, or these kinds of things, or on the other side, I've heard men talk about in my office the notion that, listen, I'm here to make money, not to make friends, and I've heard that, and I'm like, listen, when you work in any kind of company, it's called human beings.
Yes,
we have human beings in the company. They're not robots.
And frankly, you make money, you build a business on relationships.
There you go. To me, that's what it's about.
It is. You
have to build relationships in order to actually be more successful. And building relationships is a very female aspect.
Yeah, right? It is. And so the conference really focuses on.
So what's the name of the conference?
FemMassCon.
FemMassCon. MASCON, FemMascon. Unbelievable. I love that. It's so cool.
Yeah. It's about integrating the two and realizing that, you know, to the example you were just giving.
Hey, Bonnie Chan is in the house. Cha Chapin is in the
Bonnie.
house. Ben Tucci's in the house. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes.
And so it's so important to realize that there are times and places for both. You've got to be action-oriented, which is in the way we've put these in boxes, that's considered masculine.
Right.
And you've got to be about listening and engaging, which is in our box, more feminine.
Right.
Now, realize it's available to all of us. And that's the key story or the key message of this conference, is that it's available to all of us. It's about knowing when to flow, hence the physics in the title of Betty Ann's book. It's the ability to flow and move between, and knowing that it's not about big
I think it's
swings.
a superpower.
I like that.
I think it's a superpower to be able to flow between the genders, to be able to not just lock into a box, one box, that you have all access to all aspects of each gender and mix it up so that it's useful to you.
Yeah, and you need to observe what's going on, and then over time, as you practice this, you learn how to pull out the right approach. And it isn't about whether it's feminine or masculine. It's about what makes you effective in that moment.
So say that again. It's not about feminine or masculine.
It's about what will make you effective in that moment.
I mean, this is invaluable. This is invaluable information. I have very often thought we need to dig deep and wide into these topics. Dig deep and wide into these topics, because people are being brought up in ways that I believe is cutting off a big portion of their being.
Yes.
Not through the fault of the parenting, but because societally there is this either or. It's, you know what, we are changing. And then there's the gender conversation. Today, many people, many young people, many people generally are identifying not as the gender that they were supposedly born into. So that's powerful.
It is.
And also extremely troubling for people who are going through it. I've worked with a number of people who are in the process of shifting their gender, and it is very difficult. But if we had a society that was more open to this sort of flowing between the genders, I think it would be
if we can get rid of these boxes that we've put, then people who don't identify in the two traditional, then they are going to feel like it is much more even ground for all of us. It makes it healthier for all of us.
I gotta say,
teaching us.
I gotta say that the younger people today in their 20s, they got it down pat. They really do. They're much more gender fluid. They're dipping into all aspects. I think it's our generation that needs to really learn.
But it's also important to realize we have structures that are really conditioned by these two boxes that we've created.
Right.
And it is about us all, and that's what I want to see happen at this conference, is that we talk about, and we're going to end it all. I'm very excited about how we're going to end. We're going to talk about what's one small thing. With everything we've learned through the day, and we've got an amazing set of speakers, but with everything that we're going to learn through the day, what's one thing each of us is willing to do?
Who are the speakers?
I think that's the key thing.
You're excited about these speakers.
I am.
They're great speakers, everybody.
Every single one.
Oh, and by the way, I'll just do a quick one.
Sure.
Everyone who's watching and who watches the replay will have a chance to put their name into a draw. I will be putting, in fact, I'm going to put the link very shortly up. You need to put your name to get 2 free tickets to this conference on November 10th. And if you don't win, I'll be announcing it. I'll say this again. I'll be announcing it Saturday morning via email. So check your inbox. But even if you don't get, you'll have a discount code, a major discount code. So just so you know. All right. So tell me about the speakers.
So one of our speakers, the headline speaker, in fact, I want to say that every one of our speakers could headline a conference. Like, I am so excited about this speaker list. So Wendy Kennedy, she's flying up from California. She's an intuitive, an empath, a channel.
Oh, how cool.
And she tunes in and calls us to our potential, which is really at the heart of what we're working on in this conference, is how do we expand our capacity by being able to access both our feminine and masculine, to be able to expand and grow our potential. Right? Reach and expand.
I love how you're saying not just expand, but grow the potential through new information.
Yes. And she's going to be, her focus is on identity and how we look at identity. So and it's all about helping people to walk into, to use her line, to walk into their light.
Oh my God.
Isn't that
I mean,
fantastic?
that is powerful.
Yep, I know.
You know, I talk about stepping into the greatness of you, but this is walk into your light.
Yep.
And Sue McIsaac, who's, hi Sue, nice to see you here, old high school buddy. Great talk. Let people celebrate their natural strengths and drop the masculine and feminine stereotypes.
Yes.
It's okay to pick up a wrench and rock a beautiful dress. And Sue,
in the same day.
In the same day, you know. You exemplify this, you know, she's an incredible woman in that regard. And also Bonnie Chan, who you know.
I know Bonnie.
Hi, Rox Bartel. Yes, to building relationships.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep.
To me, there is no other way truly to move forward into success, into a balanced life. There's no other way.
Yep.
You've got to do it. You've got to understand that if you just stay on the one track, you cut off a massive piece of your success track.
Yes. It was Warren Buffett who actually, I heard him speak, and he was talking about bringing more women into the workplace, because of course the corporate world and investing is his thing. And I remember when he said, we were so slow in including women, and I still would say we're a little slow in fully including.
Yes.
However, he then went on to say, why would we ever, in any economy that wants to grow, leave half of our resource on the bench?
Wow.
So I am taking that principle and applying it to this. Why would we leave half of our abilities, half of our capacity by staying only in one box? Why would we leave that on the bench? So we
and
need
that's
to
outside and inside. So that's in the workplace, hiring men, women, all genders, but also accessing it within yourself. And for me, that's been a huge personal journey.
Yeah. Like for women, finding your voice so that you are able to articulate yourself and, to use the word you used earlier, command the room.
Right.
And find that presence when you walk in. And for men to find their ability to listen and to see things in new ways so that they can create in new ways, and that they're welcome to do it. So, and people who don't identify as men and women may already understand this
very well. Exactly.
However, it is about them also feeling accepted and engaged in this process of teaching all of us and working on this journey with us.
You know, I have to say, you know, to survive very male-oriented families or workplaces, women have had to emulate men. But I have to say, and I know that in order to be even heard by my father, I needed to kind of like be this kind of whippersnapper type of person, you know. But what I will say is that it is through my vulnerable side, my more feminine, receptive side, that I reach more people, that I'm able to really connect at a deeper level. So, but one without the other is not effective. It's both. It's both. So I appreciate, speakers. Let's go with speakers.
So I've talked a little bit about Betty Ann. But let me just say the tagline for her, because I've got a tagline for each of the talks, is breaking free from gender conditioning.
I love it.
Isn't that great?
Oh, that is so good.
She's going to speak to that with a myriad of stories and also strategies.
Nice.
And I need to say my favorite thing. I know she's got a major bio, and you can find it on our website. But the one thing, I don't know if I've ever told her this, my favorite piece in her bio is that she was for many years the investor relations person of the year for Canada. Investor relations. So think about what that means. That's relationship oriented, but in a very male world of working with the investors, bringing in the capital for your company to grow, and very, very male. And yet she was able to rock it by being able to move between the feminine and the masculine. It's a skill set. It's a skill set. Yeah. Even though she's got an amazing bio with so many other things, that's my favorite.
Yeah. I just posted both the link to, put your name in for the draw. Yeah. Don't forget to put your name in for the draw for 2 free tickets to this amazing conference. And I just posted the actual conference link for you to check out.
Our third speaker,
Yes.
I'm also excited about, Umberto Carollo, who is the executive director of White Ribbon. If you don't know
wow.
White Ribbon,
Wow,
it was started after the Montreal massacre back in 1989.
Yeah.
And one of the founding partners in that, I don't know if they called themselves partners, but was Jack Layton. And they started White Ribbon, and Umberto is the executive director there. He's also the global co-chair of the Men Engage Alliance. And so he's going to be, the tagline I have for him is, too much of a good thing really isn't a good thing. And so he looks at the extremes. So he talks about toxic masculinity, but I've also asked him to think about how to get us talking about what is the opposite.
Well, Bhupinder Bo, I love Bo, from our lovely emerging speakers class. On the other hand, working in an all-female environment is very difficult.
Yes.
Where she works. So that's the toxic female environment where
Yeah.
there's this overly female gender experience. So it's both. Both have their toxicity, and we cannot bullshit. We have to get real about this.
That's right. Too much of a good thing is rarely a good thing.
That's right.
So we want to celebrate both and realize we need them to integrate, not
integrate.
It's
so the integration, I think, is what this conference is really essentially about, and the tools and the pathway toward integration.
And it's about valuing it, right? It's where our human innovation comes from, right? So we often call this human-centered innovation, the innovation of being able to expand our own capacity, right?
And Bo says, when I'm working and there is a male working, I'm relieved as I find that males are more lighthearted and can joke with them. That's interesting. It's not always the case. It's not always the case.
I found that too. I've also found that my sense of humor sometimes runs off them a little better than it does women. Women are more so, but again, it's a generalization. But I totally get that point. Totally.
Yeah, and I think that the key thing is that why you're on Courageous Conversations, Roxanne. Is because Rox is because not everyone's talking about this. This is, some people get really kind of offended, where there's any kind of actual real talk about male and female gender, because it can be a very touchy subject. But I think it's so useful in terms of our society to dig into these topics as a way to, I would say, decode the topic, decode it.
And in our conference, one of the things we're doing is realizing that while we've got these amazing speakers, we also know that everyone needs to have an opportunity to share their voice, because this is one where we need to have ongoing courageous conversations. Like, not the conference is just the kickstart, and we're hoping it'll be first annual conference.
Well, I was going to say, I wrote hashtag FemasCon 2019 because I thought there's going to be a hashtag FemasCon 2020. There's going to be, and maybe I'll speak at the next one.
And because I do think this is a conversation we all need to be having. We need to be talking about our struggles in adapting to a world that requires us, but also allows us and invites us to entertain this integration. But at the same time, it is a difficult one. And we do expect in the conference, we're going to have a roundtable piece at the end of the morning, and we're going to have a chance to invite people to share. We're going to have a provocative statement so that people can react to it and have a conversation.
I think today's world, why I kind of have trouble with the news, is because we're living very much in an us versus them world. Whether it's different countries, different cultures, different religions, different genders. There's a lot of polarization. And I feel like we have to honor the polarity of each perfect aspect of each gender. But to me, what's healing the planet is integration. What's healing the planet is bringing the polarity into integration. To me, polarity without integration is dissonance. And that is what's going on. A lot of dissonance.
It's about pulling apart instead of bringing together.
And we're not saying, and I know this conference is not saying, or I don't say, that this is take away from your feminine side or female side, or take away from your masculine side. We're talking about coming away from the toxic masculine or the toxic feminine.
It's kind of like, I think of it like a dance. You don't want to fall off the stage, so you don't want to go to the edges.
I love that.
What you want to do is be able to flow through the room. And you want to be able to be in both feminine and masculine, not just pick a time when you're going to be, but be able to within one meeting. In fact, Betty had some of her stories about really witnessing how men were able to move between it and wow her in her career, and she shares how she did it, and we all have stories. In fact, I have an opening story for the conference.
You're speaking.
Yes. I'm opening it with a story, and
I love it.
and really exploring how I navigated from. I was a little more masculine because I learned to do that in a very male-oriented work environment,
right?
And how I needed to find the other, and how much more effective. And I think we'll all find we're more effective when we're able to marry the two.
Yeah,
when we're able to bring them together.
I mean, this is such a courageous conversation. I'm so passionate about it. And I know that you are as well. Oh. I just want, all these great people join. Ryan Radin, the wise Ryan Radin, and Christopher, thank you for tuning in. I love that people are tuning in because it really is a powerful topic that, I want to remind people that this is not something that a lot of people are making conferences around.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
And so to me, this conference that you're helping to curate and Nermina who created, guide, exactly. Yep. I think it's very courageous. I think it's very, very, very courageous. Who did you speak about all the speakers?
I haven't. No. I want to talk about Joe Mahavik. For you and me, he was our city councilor for years. He was a city councilor here in Toronto for 28 years until Ford government changed our city council, and now he's a professor at York University, and he's going to be talking about governance. In fact, my tagline for him is elevating cultural norms beyond either or, so that we again, ain't great, isn't it?
Wow.
Beyond either or, we don't need
going
to
beyond the polarity, going on
beyond.
Hi, Paulina. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
I want to just remind everyone that you have an opportunity because you're a viewer and of the live as well as the replay to be putting your name in for 2 free tickets to this conference. In the comments is my link to it, so do check it out. It's one of the first comments I put out. Do check that out. I'll repost it. I'll post it widely because you'll get 2 tickets. And not only 2 tickets, but this draw, I've decided I will keep it open until Friday, this Friday coming the 18th until midnight. Check your inbox Saturday morning for the 2 winners because I want to know your email. I want to know all that so I can communicate with you. And you're going to get a free gift from me, which is a surprise, which is kind of cool. And also, if you don't win the tickets, you'll always have the free gift and you'll have the discount code at a substantial discount. What is it? What is the discount?
I think it's something like 35%.
35% off the ticket price, so that's pretty amazing. Yeah. It's in downtown Toronto in a beautiful space on Elm Street.
That's right.
On November 10th. And I find that the location, because we take a course there, it's such a beautiful location. And the where you're doing it in the auditorium, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's so wonderful.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, Roxanne, about the possibilities around younger people. So, because the demographic of this conference is obviously people who are in the work, everybody. Because to me, this is a conversation that affects your emotions, your relationships, your work experience, all of it.
Yes.
All of it.
Yes. And we need a variety of people to be there because not only...
it's not very expensive, so I just want you to know that.
It's not. We want it to be accessible because the conversation is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So while we have these amazing speakers speaking from everything from identity to governance, and everything in between and structure, which we haven't even talked about yet, but here's the thing. We end the morning with a BOEM-style roundtable conversation because it's a way to get everyone involved. So that's why we want to.
So we're not talking to you.
Yeah.
We're including you.
Yes, it's a conversation.
That's right.
And we end the whole day with a different kind of roundtable where it's more about what's one small thing I can do, because again we want to go from the listening to each other to the what are we going to do, because those two, feminine and masculine, together make for better outcomes for all of us.
So actual user-friendly stuff, stuff that people can use in their lives.
That's right. Yeah. And so what we want is for people to be there to be part of the conversation. So the more variety we have involved in the conversation, the better insights and input we will all experience.
Roxanne, we're starting to round out the end of our... I know this talk goes so quickly, doesn't it? Yeah, it goes really quickly. Yeah. So what is the name of the website? It's femascon...
.com.
femmascon.com.
Yep.
How can people find you personally?
Oh, well, they can
professionally, I should say.
Yeah. Rox Bartel on LinkedIn. That's
Rox
my go-to
Bartel,
place.
yes.
That's my go-to place every day. And you can also find me. You can find me at impactbank.ca.
Say that slowly.
IMPACTBANK.
Impact Bank.
.ca. It's all about, for me, it's all about banking on the impact we make.
I love it. I love it. And I love the tagline that we had in our little promo meeting, which is bubble up change from the root. And Rox Bartel said that. Bubble up change from the root. I love it.
It's a funny little story. I was talking to one of my guy friends from university, and I was trying to explain to him what we're doing with this conference, I think late last week. And I said something about, I'm all about these days bubbling up change from the root.
Yes.
And he said, whoa.
That's a great sentence.
That was a good line.
Yes.
So thank you, Gino.
Yes. And you also say realizing that you could access and integrate both the feminine and masculine attributes was life-changing and career boosting.
And that's the story behind that quote is the story I opened the conference with.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to sharing.
That's going to be amazing.
But before we go, I just need to say our last speaker in the morning of the conference and my partner in crime, she really is the instigator of this whole thing. She came up with it. She's funding it.
Nice.
Is Nermina. And she's speaking on, the tagline I have for hers is fully engaging with a fresh framework. She's an engineer by training. And so anyone who knows engineers know they think in very methodical, but she's also very spiritual. She is the one that brought Wendy in to be part of this. So she's an amazing woman. And she will be speaking on a process, an organizational structure that she's designed that is a game changer around this and that takes into account the feminine and masculine coming together to make organizations more effective by their structure, not just by their culture, but by their structure. So everything from identity with Wendy through looking at culture with Joe to looking at how do we look at structures.
I love it.
With Nermina. It's wonderful.
Bonnie says, put my name in the draw. Bonnie, put your name in the draw. My link, I will post the link again. And what I want you to do is just simply, let's see if I have it on my paste here. Yes, I do. It's right there. I just reposted it. And everybody put your name in the draw for 2 free tickets. The draw ends Friday the 18th. This coming Friday the 18th at midnight. Check your inbox for did you win the free tickets? Number 1. Number 2, if you didn't win the free tickets, no worries. You get 35% off the actual conference ticket price, which is very, very reasonable and a real giveaway. And you get a free gift from me, a special treat from Victoria Lorient-Faibish, which you do not want to miss because it's just love. Want to love you, want to give to you, want to have you be benefited by these amazing, amazing opportunities. So put your name in the draw now. Put your name in the draw.
And then I want to meet all of you on November 10th.
Exactly. I mean, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in the audience. I'm so excited about this experience, and I'm going to be there. And what I want you to remember is that you can access all aspects of yourself. You don't have to be in one lane all the time. You can bring the various aspects of yourself, the masculine, the feminine, the in-between, and integrate it and have that be the most effective toolkit for your success. Okay? Last words? Last thoughts?
Look forward to seeing you on November 10th. We're going to have a kick-ass conversation.
Absolutely. And a kick-ass conference. So listen, keep having courageous conversations with yourself and others. It's the only way, in my opinion, to evolve and to be the most profound, best aspect of yourself. This is what I want for you. And Paulina says, looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to seeing you, Paulina. And got a phone call in. Sorry about that. I do this all on my fabulous Note 10. So have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful day. Hang on, I'm going to kill this phone call. There we go. Come on. Decline. There we go. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Blessings to you. Have a great one. And courageous conversations, and Femme Mascon 2019. Thank you, Roxanne.
Thank you,
Rox.
Victoria.
All right.